Well, techies out there, it's your two favorite tech support specialists back here for Cinephellas. I am Logan Myers. That's my good mate over there.
And I'm just Henry Hill here on my Windows 95 computer. What's going on, everybody? We are back once again, and this time the Cinefellas boys here, Uncle Logan and I are going to talk about a returning television series. It's very popular series, dystopian sci-fi. Has a lot to say about technology and the way that us humans interact with our technology. It's been a few years since the last season. It is back. It's the seventh season of the show created by Charlie Brooker. That's right. We are back to talk about the Netflix show, season seven of Black Mirror.
I don't like this game.
I'm losing my mind.
That's right. We're back to talk about the brand new season of Black Mirror. I remember we reviewed Bandersnatch a few years back. Always been a fan of the show. It came out in 2011. It used to be an English show, but now it's more American, bringing American actors and things like that. But there are early seasons of Daniel Kaluuya, Toby Cabell, a bunch of other people, just like really ahead of its time, but also had a cool little Twilight Zone and Outer Limits vibe to it, just the modern look at technology and how it controls our lives. Foreshadowing a lot of artificial intelligence, AI stuff that we're dealing with, in 2025, which is like an everyday thing now. I always felt like it was ahead of its time, but this brand new season just came out, season seven, and we have six different stories in the brand new season. Of course, it's anthology, it's all standalone episodes, not really connecting all that much, but the first one is starts off with a bang, a very depressing story with Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones playing this blue collar family. She has a brain tumor, trying to figure out what they're going to do. She's going to die. So they sign up for this technology, replaces her mind with servers in the cloud, essentially. And it's a subscription service, which we're coming across, all the time. Pay for this service, pay for this, Netflix, Max, everything. So it has a cool little take on that and paying in order to survive.
Like all the episodes of Black Mirror, the technology that they introduce, a lot of the times it can help, the human race and humans in their day lives. It makes things easier, seemingly makes them, a little bit more better. They can do things more efficiently. But then at the same time, it also introduces what can go wrong with technology too. And we're experiencing this, in today's age with technology. Electronics just keep getting better. The technology is getting greater, and you just get bombarded with one, after the other, from cell phones, new cell phones every year, new VR technology coming out, just the constant bombardment. And, while it does make life easier on us too, it gets us addicted more and more. And yes, we are bombarded with ads every day. We're seeing things and we don't even think about it anymore. We're seeing all these ads, and then we wonder why later on we're thinking about something that we saw. You don't even put the two together. You're at the store, for some reason you're drawn to a specific product, and you're not even thinking about, hey, I've seen an ad about that before. I heard about that before. It's all from the messaging. And yeah, the first episode there with Rashida Jones and Chris O'Dowd, it's a piece of technology that would obviously keep his wife alive and able to communicate. And, obviously he'd prefer his wife to be alive and to, not suffer and to be there with him. But at the same time, it starts playing these ads randomly. And the subscriptions, they keep wanting you to go to the next higher tier to keep the service better and to get a stronger signal. It just, when does it end? It's like all these streaming services today. They start at one price, and then a year later, they're like, well, we're going to bump up the price here. If you don't want ads, you can pay an extra couple bucks. Has a lot to say about that, things that we actually see all the time. So this episode, yeah, it was definitely a sad episode. It wasn't like shiny and happy, but it was very relevant to what's going on today. And I really enjoyed the episode. Great performances from Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones. And another part of the episode, too, with like OnlyFans having to deal with that. And with him needing to, get enough money and have enough funds to be able to pay for all the new subscriptions to keep the service going for his wife, where he has to start turning to, putting on a mask and going online and humiliating himself so he can raise enough money, which is happening too. OnlyFans people are having to go on there and do things that they would never have done before if they weren't making money doing it. So has a lot to say, and that's something that makes Black Mirror, all the more relevant today and, just as potent. And the first episode I really enjoyed. This was a good one, sad, but definitely one of the standouts from season 7.
Yeah, I thought it really started off with a bang in the first episode, even though it was really sad and depressing. It's very relatable as to what's going on in the world. Healthcare, it's very expensive for, to take care of your health or somebody else's health in your family. So you have to do crazy things just to survive, and everything's so expensive. So had a lot to say, social commentary in this one, but the second one was pretty interesting too, having to do with this executive that works at a chocolate company. Her old friend or schoolmate shows up, she had picked on her and her friends picked on her. So she came up and weird things start happening. Also a very interesting and pretty cool ending to this episode. What did you think?
The second episode, yeah, I wasn't into as much as the first episode, having to do with chefs, right? And the food and
the chocolate, yeah.
And the girl that was kind of familiar, and turns out that girl, thought she knew her from high school, had remembered her from before. And yeah, that one was just okay to me. I don't know. It didn't have anybody I knew in it, so I didn't really have any reference for like the actresses or anything. Nobody was bad in it. I just thought it was one of the weaker stories overall. It had a cool ending in like the room and everything with what happened. But yeah, it felt kind of familiar, like I'd seen that story before.
Yeah, that ending kind of caught me off guard because it was a slow episode. Just all this kind of bad stuff happening to
Mhm.
this woman at this job, and trying to figure out like how's this happening. And the ending totally goes a different way. I'm like, all right, that was good. Yeah, I like how they wrap that up and some blood along the way. That was really cool. But yeah, the story itself is a little familiar, but that's okay. The third one, I thought I would really love. This was having to do with the Hollywood A-list actress, uh, part of this immersive high-tech remake of a vintage like old black and white movie from like the 1930s. Gets
Yeah.
thrown into it, has this relationship with the actress, and I thought I would really enjoy it, but this one kind of dragged for me, and it was about 15 minutes too long.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. It felt it was a little too long. I did like the whole concept of it though, was cool. Obviously having to do with AI movie making, like we're seeing a lot today, and it's a big hot topic. You don't want AI to basically make the whole movie for you. There's a lot of arguments back and forth. How much AI do you want to let in? It's obviously going to make things easier, but there's some people out there that are just going to try to use it to make the whole thing for themselves, make a whole movie, because the technology's there and it's only going to get better. But when you start messing with that, then you take away from obviously the human experience and the artistic, creative visions of, directors and everything. So the episode definitely had a lot to do with that, and having to do with this actress going in and, taking the place of a role that was initially meant for a man. And she was a woman, but obviously she was still attracted to the main star. So, she's in that place for that character. And, a little ways into the filming, something goes wrong with the technology, and they have to kind of think on the fly how they're gonna do this and save it, because once they start the filmmaking process of this, they have to keep going. They can't stop and start over. So it leads to some interesting things where they have to make some character choices that weren't a part of the initial film, but as long as they as long as they hit a couple of the same certain beats as the original movie, they will be able to carry on and make the film. So introduces some cool stuff. I like how it was all in black and white. It looked a lot like a movie from back in the day that you'd see, from the 40s and 50s. The actress playing the love interest, the girl, damsel in distress. She looked like an old time actress that you'd see like in back in the day. So I did like that. But yeah, just overall, it should have had a bigger impact than it did. Is kind of my thoughts on it. What about yours?
I agree with everything you said. Also, look at AI and how AI is, the big controversy, which everybody's talking about in Hollywood and movies being written by AI and all that kind of stuff. So it had a lot of cool elements to it. Just a little too slow for me, like I said, a little too long. Episode 4 was Plaything. It had to do with this like 1990s video game. And this guy, Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who himself, shows up. He has like cool long hair, um, flashbacks to when he was younger, and then like to an old man. But it basically, he gets accused or taken in, and really sets up the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that was a cool episode, and it goes back to another Black Mirror that we've seen, Bandersnatch with Will
Yeah.
Poulter.
Yep.
It's in that same universe, so that was cool to go back to that story and see how it intertwined with this new one. I did. I like this episode. This was a cool one, directed by David Slade, and we do see Will Poulter briefly in the episode. It has to do with this game, Thronglets, and basically he loads the game. He steals the game as a young man. He takes it as he is narrating it. He kind of lays it out like he thinks that it was kind of left there for him to take. So like he kind of wanted him to take this game. Well, anyways, he took it home, loaded it on his computer, and basically it's like these little, I don't know, birds, some sort of animal like that that you take care of. They hatch out of an egg, and they were communicating, trying to communicate. And one day, they took, I don't know what it was, acid or some kind of drug, and he was able to communicate with them. So he knew exactly what they were saying, and he communicated with them, and it basically was like a basically a real video game, like on a live video game universe within this game. He was taking care of these lives of these animals in the game, and then his roommate one day went in the game and started killing them, and that led to some pretty crazy stuff after that.
Yeah, I did. That was definitely one of the better episodes of this season. I like the tie-in to Bandersnatch. Will Poulter popping up in everything these days.
Hmm.
Peter Capaldi was really fantastic in this. Definitely one of the standout episodes this season, and love the whole video game element and aspect to it. I thought that was well done. The next one is another tearjerker. One hurts, makes you feel down,
Yeah.
sad, and of course I'm talking about Eulogy with Paul Giamatti. Wonderfully written and acted though, this
Yeah.
episode. It's really cool premise. You can step into like photographic memories essentially with this technology, stepping back in time, being a fly in the wall kind of scenario. The old
Hmm.
memories of him being a young man, having this relationship with this girl. It doesn't end well, but it has to do with music and things like that. And essentially, this woman's daughter shows up, and going back in time to find out what exactly happened between, Paul Giamatti and her mom.
It was really interesting what they did with this episode. I agree with you. Paul Giamatti was great in the episode, playing this older man, middle-aged man named Philip, and him getting this message that somebody he knew, somebody that used to be special to him, died, and they want him to share some memories and kind of make a eulogy, and they're going to use memories from a lot of people that knew her and put them all together and kind of put this together in her memory. And it's somebody that you can tell had a big impact on his life, and things didn't go right, and it's hurt him. And it's probably been a few years since he's thought about that. He's tried to put it out of his mind for a while. So it's really him going back in time and seeing these photographs and it stirring up these memories that he hasn't thought of in a really long time, and him, slowly remembering details, and it puts him on this journey. And, you find out their relationship, you find out that they both really weren't that great to each other. But there really was a connection between them, but at that time in their lives, it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But yeah, it was cool. I liked how they used the photo, and they were able to like go into it. So he was actually in the photo. He could see things lying around and like he'd put the clues together and like, oh yeah, this was happening at that time. It was at a Halloween party. It was very interesting how they did that. I hadn't seen that done before on film. And having Paul Giamatti as the actor here too, he's a phenomenal actor and he was great in this too. And yeah, by the end of the episode, I was kind of welling up. It's pretty heavy episode for sure.
It hits you at the end for sure, right? The last 5 minutes, like, damn. And you feel it right here, and you feel what Paul Giamatti's character is going through. And man, this
Yeah.
actor gives it his all in every performance he's ever been in. I remember watching him like the early 90s, like 30 plus years. This guy's incredible. And he goes to some really emotional and sad places in this episode. I thought it was also very unique. Another one of the standout episodes
Hmm.
in this season too. But that one, few episodes that really get to you. You're like, I need what?
I'm
That's
not
really good.
crying, you're crying.
You're crying. Who's cutting the onions? But yeah, it's good writing, great characters.
Yes,
So
really
really
was.
impressive. And the one I was looking forward to that I saw snippets of before the new season dropped, the sequel to USS Callister that came out, I think 2017. It's been a while.
Hmm.
The sequel episode having to do with Robert Daly, Jesse Plemons, and clones, and them all being Star Trek characters basically up in
Hmm.
space, and really set up a really fun episode too. This one was the longest of the season, but it felt like a movie, and it really flew by.
It did, yeah. It was great. I love the pace in it. USS Callister Into Infinity reminded me of the Star Trek movie Into Darkness. I think that they did a few years ago. Similar title to that, but very unique. I love the story, what they did there with this, with Jimmy Simpson's character, the boss, and just a well done science fiction. This is one of the better science fiction episode, but this really was like a movie in itself. This was like a sequel to the first one. Kristen Milotti playing Nanette Cole here. And yeah, they're all in space and their characters are able to go through this game and portray these characters much like Star Trek. Very much better than any science fiction I've seen lately, though, how they did it and just the writing of this episode itself is very smart, very well done. Toby Haynes directing the episode. Billy Magnuson's back. We saw returning characters there. Jesse Plemons, like you said, comes back. Um, I liked how they brought him back too. Very smart, and you see him how he started out, how he was making this game, and you really go into some places here I didn't know we were in this episode, and the way things shake out in this episode, it definitely leaves it open, and there will be another movie, I predict, that's going to wrap up this story, USS Callister. But just the science fiction, just what they were able to do with the budget. This looks like a big Hollywood blockbuster, like when they show the space action stuff.
Yeah.
Really awesome special effects. The costume, everything looks great. They go to different worlds. They have to, track down characters on different worlds. Man, I was blown away with this episode. At first when it started, I was like, oh, what are they going to do with this that we haven't seen before? But it's really well done what they did here, having to do with Jimmy Simpson's character, like we mentioned, and him not being very nice to his coworkers, especially him doing some devious shit and really causing some chaos along the way, we'll say. And much having to do with Jesse Plemons, Robert Daly, too, bringing him back into the fold, which was really epic to see him back. I didn't know that he was going to come back for this. So, yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes from here, especially how things ended here. We don't want to spoil anything. But this was a really, really well crafted episode. Felt like a movie, flew by, and definitely left me wanting more and wanting to know what happens after this.
Yeah, it definitely was a movie. Probably my favorite of the season. There's a lot of great ones like we've talked about already, but I was really looking forward to this one because I loved the first one. I did laugh a few times with Jesse Plemons was heavier set back then, and then like him now, he's like super
Yeah.
skinny. Robert Daly playing like the techie guy, the cliche IT person, dorky and behind the clones and things like that. And
Hmm.
what happens with the tech company, Jimmy Simpson's character playing the CEO. Man, that guy's a great actor. I think he gets
He is.
overlooked a lot. He's been in a lot of great stuff, Westworld, Always Sunny, movies. But yeah, this guy's can go to some really dark places and different places as an actor. His roles are always different, but he was really incredible in this episode. I thought he was a great
Hmm.
villain. And of course, the
Yeah.
rest of the ensemble,
Hmm.
returning in this one really blew me away, flew by. I love all the technology in the 1960s Star Trek vibe to it. I think it really mixes well, it vibes well. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to see the next entry. I don't know if they're going to do a trilogy or what the plan is, but I definitely want more of this. And all of you should definitely check it out, the entire season, but especially the final one, episode
Hmm.
6. Really worth your time. And yet another home run season for me for Black Mirror. I love the show. I'm always excited for it to return
Yeah.
and had an absolute blast of season 7. I can't wait for more. So that being said, I'm gonna give the new season of Black Mirror streaming on Netflix. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 Jimmy Simpson hairpieces.
Yeah, this was a really good season. I enjoyed all these episodes. There wasn't like a bad episode, and there was a few really phenomenal episodes this season. I was happy. It felt like a return to form. There's a few seasons there where it was, a shortened season, and like there was one with like Miley Cyrus. Didn't have as big of impact, but this one felt like a nice return to form here, featuring some really A-list actors here. Paul Giamatti's episode, Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones episode, USS Callister episode. Those are all, classic Black Mirror episodes. So really enjoyed this season as a whole. 7 episodes on Netflix. Make sure to check it out. You won't be disappointed. So with that being said, I'm going to give season 7 of Black Mirror, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 Robert Daly hair pieces.
So I want to hear from all you AI enthusiasts out there. What did you like about the new season of Black Mirror? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite season? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to type subscribe. Also, check out these wild robots on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
So what's your favorite episode of Black Mirror, would you say?
I like that Daniel Kaluuya episode,
Mm,
episode 2 of season 1. Yeah, that whole
yeah.
season I really enjoyed. Rory Cochrane, I can't remember
Hmm.
that. He was in the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
Something
I
like
know who you're
that.
talking about.
English actor. But yeah, the first 2 seasons were incredible. Like so ahead of its time and something
Yeah.
I thought new and refreshing. The early stuff really got to me. I love the USS Callister episodes
Hmm.
are up there too for me.
The one that I can think of that stands out that you didn't mention, San Junipero with Mackenzie
Yeah,
Davis from
that's a good
*Halt and
one.
Catch Fire*. That was a really interesting, cool episode. That's definitely one of the best ones. They really do some great, alternate takes on reality, having to do with technology. There's some great episodes of TV here. Who is the guy that played on the Netflix show we watched in black and white? I'm trying to think of it. He was also the priest on Fleabag. You remember that actor? I'm trying to think his name. It was Ripley was the show. That actor was in an episode of Black Mirror that was really phenomenal too.
Mhm.
I can't think of the episode title, but yeah, this series also gets some big stars along the way too. You see a lot of famous people before they get big too in those early seasons. So this is the kind of show that can just go on infinitely, and you know, Charlie Brooker keeps making these awesome episodes. He's been taking his time with them too. It's not like other shows where he's like, yeah, I have to do it every year. No, he takes a few years. He makes sure he has good stories before he puts them out. So yeah, I can't wait to see more. I wish we didn't have to wait so long, but it's always well worth the wait for Black Mirror.
Absolutely. It's one of the top, shows on Netflix, in my opinion. So
Mhm.
excited. Take your time, make some really great stories and episodes, and we'll be here to come back and review them there, Uncle Charlie.
So thank you for watching our review of season 7 of Black Mirror. And until the next Cinephellas TV review, I am Uncle Henry Plemons.
And I'm Logan Kaluuya signing out until the next TV review. Cheers!